Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Rob, Joe, and Steven with a PH sent me this story. I'm Steve with a V. And they knew I'd be interested because I did a story very similar to this out of Michigan about a guy in Michigan who lost his home to a foreclosure for a very small amount of money. And Michigan is one of the states where if they sell your home at foreclosure, after they pay themselves the taxes they're owed, they just keep the rest of the money. But here's the crazy one. A woman in New Jersey nearly lost her home because she owed 6 cents in back taxes. 6 cents in back taxes. Fox News published it. Bradford Betts wrote it. A woman in New Jersey with Alzheimer's, who's 89 years old, nearly lost her home of 50 years because she owed a grand total of 6 cents in back taxes. Ocean Township officials put the woman's home up for sale September 9th after the debt she owed on her taxes accrued to more than $300 with interest and administrative costs, according to WNBC. So what happens is you owe 6 cents. It's not paid. They go, oh, late fee. They slap that on there. They go, oh, administration fee. They slap that on there. Interest on all this money, because there wouldn't be much interest on 6 cents. And before you know it, it's $300. The woman's story gained traction after her daughter went to social media. Now remember, the woman lives in New Jersey, but her daughter lives in Virginia, and she slammed the city's lack of imagination for failing to come up with 6 cents in an office full of people to cover the debt. She said she only found out about her mother's situation after her house was put up for sale. Well, I'm going to stop right now and let you know. There's going to be people in the audience who say, Steve, but 6 cents here, 8 cents there. You can't expect the people in the office just to pony up and just cover every single person who's short, because where does it stop? And I agree with that. But I also think that someone needs to take a look at it and go, wait, someone's short 6 cents. And they haven't responded to noticing your house is going to be sold for 6 cents. Maybe there's a communication breakdown. And maybe when you look at the records and see that someone's lived there for 50 years, that if they bought the house as an adult, they're at least 68 years old, but odds are older than that. So maybe there's some connection. So maybe once in a while, someone should take a look at this. And certainly, a house going into foreclosure for 6 cents should be something high up on the list. Because as you can imagine, there aren't a lot of numbers lower than 6 that are still positive. So if a house went up for sale for being short 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents, 4 cents, or 5 cents, that would be more compelling than this one. But the question is, does that happen? Because if it does, that's a problem also. So she's called me dozens of times in the last 24 hours, the daughter said. Is my house going to be okay? Do I have to pack? Where am I going to live? The daughter said her mom received at least one warning call from a tax collector, but her Alzheimer's made her forget. Even the tax collector could tell that all was not well, according to the daughter. The daughter called and spoke to the man. Apparently, the tax collector called her because when I talked to him, he said he realized there was something wrong that she didn't understand. I said, I'm sorry, you're selling my mother's house today because she owes you 6 cents? And he said, yeah, it's amazing how these things snowball. The daughter said, I was like, it's like 6 cents. 6 cents. So the daughter said she contacted the Ocean Township mayor, who apologized for the situation. And the mayor said, it's silly. Naturally, it's really embarrassing the town to put someone's home up for sale over 6 cents. The daughter said she paid off her mom's debt and the house is taken off the market, but is still infuriated that it was put up for sale in the first place. Yeah, it's a near miss. Just missed that one. The daughter said, how many people during a pandemic or any other time are being victimized by this greedy, broken system? Now, the mother's near tragic story has prompted the mayor to try to fix the state's tax law that caused this to happen. The mayor has reached out to a state senator to discuss thresholds that municipalities can place on the amount of delinquent taxes that are owed before a tax sale is triggered. And that's according to the Ashbury Park Press reports. So, again, I don't know what would have happened with respect to the surplus if there'd been one in her case. There are still some states in America where you can own your home free and clear. You paid it off. You own your little piece of the planet. It's your castle. It's your home. Okay? You can go out and putter around the yard all day long. You can lounge around the house. You can watch TV in your underwear. You can drink beer at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's your house. There are still some states in America where if you don't pay your property taxes, no matter how small, they can auction your house off, pay themselves the taxes that you owe them, keep the surplus, and of course, you've got to leave because now someone else owns your house. And there have been documented examples where that's happened for $100, a couple $100, a few $100. And that's crazy. Now, that situation is getting turned around pretty quickly now because it's being exposed more and more. And like civil asset forfeiture, most people, when they hear it, go, what? That doesn't make any sense. And to hear the arguments that were being made in Michigan, for instance, where the Michigan government officials were going into court at the appellate court and the state Supreme Court before they lost and saying, well, if someone hasn't paid their taxes, they've abandoned their property. And they documented cases of people who just hadn't gotten the notices. And I am a firm believer in the U.S. Postal Service. I love the Postal Service. I've had issues with them in the past. I've mentioned a couple times that they've screwed something up very badly. But if you actually think about how many hundreds and thousands of pieces of mail that you deal with, both coming and going in your life, and how the vast majority of them get to where they're supposed to go in a timely fashion up until recently, it's a pretty impressive service. And, the idea that I can slap a stamp on an envelope and throw it in my mailbox and have it show up in San Diego and it cost me less than $1, that's a pretty good bargain. So the Postal Service is usually pretty good, but we have all encountered the situation where somebody mailed you something and said, hey, did you get that thing I sent you? No. When did you send it? Didn't get it. Or you mailed something to somebody. Did you get it? No. Didn't get it. So is it possible that a tax notice being mailed to somebody in this day and age didn't get there? Quite possibly. So when someone doesn't pay 6 cents in taxes, the idea that, okay, let's foreclose. Let's foreclose in the house. There needs to be a better situation here. And you might say, Steve, first step is identifying the problem. Second step is to solve the problem. Well, I don't know. Maybe they should put an extra step in there. Maybe they should have somebody like an ombudsman, somebody whose job it is to take a look at the files of the extreme cases and go, could there be something else going on here? Did we send a notice? Did we send it certified? Did we send it certified, return receipt requested with a verified signature? Did we get a card back signed by somebody saying, yes, I got this? Did we do that? No. It costs a couple bucks. Do it. Here where the guy goes, yeah, I knew there was a problem. I spoke to her. I realized that she didn't understand what's going on. Why didn't that put up a flag? That should have put up a flag. So one of the other problems that I know exists is that I go out and get my mail. I also have a P.O. box where I go get my mail. And I've got an office where I get mail. And the mail I get is often a pile of stuff like this. And the important stuff is like this. And the problem is that so much of it is junk mail designed to look important that it's quite possible that someone could get a notice from the local municipality saying your back taxes haven't been paid. And it looks a lot like a piece of junk mail, like all the other junk mail that's been dressed up to look like official mail. And it doesn't help that a lot of the municipalities send out mail that's not stamped with postage stamps, but it's sent out in bulk or some kind of flat rate or something. And because they're a government entity, they have a thing that can stamp it themselves, and it looks different. It looks different. So I can tell you right now, when I'm going through mail and I see postage stamps, my first thought is, I'm going to open that. I'm going to open that. If junk mailers were smart, they'd put stamps on stuff, except that would cost them too much money. They wouldn't do that. But all I know is that when I see stamps, I open it. When I don't see stamps, I still look at it, see how important it looks. And if it's from a government agency, I open it. But the problem is, like I said, I get so much junk that looks like official stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if some official stuff gets lost in the shuffle along the way. So back to the story, it has a happy ending in that the woman did not lose her home of 50 years over 6 unpaid cents. And the good news is that the mayor of the town where this happened has reached out to legislature and said, guys and gals, maybe you should put a threshold in there. And instead of saying you must foreclose the second somebody owes you a penny in back taxes, to make it something substantial. $50, $100, $1,000, whatever it is. Make it something other than a couple pennies, because that's kind of harsh, it seems to me. So Rob, Joe, and Stephen with the PH, thanks for passing along. New Jersey woman nearly loses a home because she owed 6 cents in back taxes. Bradford Betts wrote it for Fox News. Questions or comments, put them below. I'll just talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. In Mr. Lehto's defense, he was left unsupervised.